You're not lazy, seriously. You've probably called yourself lazy hundreds of times, but that's not actually the problem. The real problem is that you're waiting for motivation to show up before you start, and that's exactly what keeps you stuck. We've all had those days where we tell ourselves, I'll do it after lunch, then after dinner, then I'll just start tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, and the same thing happens again. The truth is, motivation isn't something you can schedule. It's unpredictable. Some days it shows up, most days it doesn't. So if your productivity depends on feeling motivated, you're leaving your success up to chance. And that's a losing game. The good news? There's a much easier way to beat procrastination, and it has nothing to do with forcing yourself to work harder. Here's something most people don't realize. Your brain isn't trying to help you get things done. It's trying to save energy. That's why starting feels so difficult. When you look at a big project, your brain doesn't see one simple task. It sees effort. It sees uncertainty. It sees something uncomfortable. So instead, it quietly pushes you toward easier options. You check your phone, reply to messages that could wait, open YouTube for just one video. Suddenly 30 minutes are gone. But have you noticed something interesting? Once you actually begin working, it usually isn't that bad. In fact, after 10 or 15 minutes, you're often completely focused. That's because the hardest part was never doing the work. It was convincing yourself to start. The resistance lives at the beginning. Once you get past that, momentum does most of the heavy lifting. So here's the trick that changes everything. Don't promise yourself you'll finish the task. Promise yourself you'll do it for just 5 minutes. That's it, 5 minutes. Set a timer. Open the laptop. Write one sentence. Read one page. Do one exercise. Work until the timer ends. And if you genuinely want to stop after those 5 minutes, stop. No guilt, no pressure, but something funny usually happens. Once you're already moving, stopping feels harder than continuing. You tell yourself, I might as well finish this section, then another section, then another. Before you know it, an hour has passed, and the task you'd been avoiding all day is nearly done. The 5-minute rule isn't magic. It simply removes the biggest obstacle, getting started. Learning about this rule is easy. Actually building a life where you use it every day is the hard part. That's why I made another video showing exactly how to create a productivity system that works even when you don't feel motivated. If you've ever struggled with consistency, make that your next watch after this one. Here's the mindset shift that changed everything for me. Stop trying to become a more disciplined person. Instead, build an environment that makes discipline almost unnecessary. Want to read more? Keep the book on your pillow instead of your shelf. Want to exercise? Put your shoes where you'll trip over them in the morning. Want to write every day? Leave your document open before you go to bed. These tiny changes seem almost too simple, but they remove friction. And when something is easy to start, you're far more likely to actually do it. The people who look incredibly productive aren't always more motivated than you. Most of them have just stopped relying on motivation. They rely on systems, so the next time you catch yourself waiting for the perfect mood, remember this. You don't need to feel ready, you don't need to be inspired, you don't need a burst of energy, you just need to begin. 5 minutes, that's all, because once you take that first small step, the rest becomes much easier.